Money, I'm home. Welcome in. I'm Lynn Jarman Johnson with Consumers Credit Union. And joining us today is our very special partner and guest. His name is Justin Swan, and he's with the Cascade Community Foundation. And Justin, you are just doing so much for the foundation. We're really excited to talk with you today about a partnership we've got going.
Lynn, it's so wonderful to be on your show. And out of all the people I could think that is going to do an amazing podcast, it is definitely you. And I'm so excited to be working with you. And you have not disappointed. Everything that we've done has been great. I can't wait to share it with people.
Well, thank you so much. Let's start off actually with a little bit about you, Justin, and tell us how you got to be the executive director at the Cascade Community Foundation. What's your mission?
Yeah, we are really there to serve as a resource for the Forest Hills community, Ada Cascade, Grand Rapids Township. And our role is that of any community foundation. We just want to be that bridge between philanthropy and cause. So if there's a family in our community that's like, hey, we're really interested in supporting this one specific cause, it's our job as a community foundation to help make that happen. And we do that in a number of ways, endowments and setting up funds. But we also get from time to time into some programming, which is what really enticed me to get involved in Cascade Community Foundation, because coming out of a business that I sold, I was really anxious just to be a part of something that would kind of give back. And we do grant making at Cascade Community Foundation. And now we're doing this Q&A live stream series, which puts us in the driver's seat to, kind of put our thumb on the pulse of our community, find out what ails them, find out what are the big important topics they want to talk about, so that we can then drive some of that grant making and, of course, drive some topic and conversation through this Q&A live stream series to that specific subject, so that we could just start to unpack it and get people looking at it, shine a spotlight on it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're very excited. We're going to get to our component in just a moment, Justin, but I know that you've been doing this. It's so fascinating. We have an office over in the Cascade market, but all of these Q&A live streams literally are hitting core issues in every community that we serve. So tell us a little bit about how you decided that this was something that you could do and what's been going on with them. How has the community reacted?
Yeah, I wish I could say it was an original idea that came from me, or really came from the foundation. It wasn't. We were approached really in the height of last summer, when there was a lot of race relations happening at the same time as COVID, and just was this perfect scenario where a couple of residents approached us and just said, hey, listen, we've been meaning to have a conversation about diversity in this community of Cascade and Ada. We've just put it off, and now we're not going to put it off anymore. We want to have the conversation. Nobody will play the platform role. Nobody will allow us to come in and have it the way we want to have it. Would you be interested in it? And, frankly, Lynn, at first I was like, man, I don't know. We're trying to really get this foundation off the ground in a really great way. And I don't know if I want to put something so divisive. But they said one thing: Justin, do you know what it's like for a person of color to live in this community? Do you live in Ada? And I was, obviously, no, I'm not. And so that was the spark right there, Lynn, that started the Q&A, but we really didn't even know what we had until the first few episodes. We just were kind of going to do it and then see where it went. And so we ended up putting out a survey, and that survey really started to show us a lot of things. And I think what the core issue of what we're trying to do is, we really want to talk about the things that you don't want to talk about, the things that you don't want to have a conversation with at the dinner table. So we've already gone to town on diversity and race. We've gone to town on mental illness last season. And then this season, of course, we're tackling that taboo topic of money. So that's how things kind of got started for us. And before we even knew it, all of a sudden we had something that was really jiving well with the community. Again, people don't want to talk about it, but they sure do like to tune in and watch what we're talking about. So maybe they do want to talk about it. They just aren't saying it.
Well, I think, Justin, one of the things that you've done is opened up that door to have transparency about conversations that can be difficult, And one of the things that we are so proud of is our financial education that we present all in the markets that we serve. One of those is, you always think to yourself, well, the zip code shows it, right? Oh, this zip
Mhm.
code doesn't need to worry about money. And what is the reality of life is that life does come at you hard, and many people still fear talking about money. Is that what you found out, and why you said, we need to talk about money?
Oh, you nailed it. And there's two sides to this too. It's hard for people to talk about it because they don't want to show, in many circumstances, they don't want to show any chink in the armor. When they walk out the door, they want to show that they've got it all figured out. They're strong. They're making good money. All those kind of things. But there's another side of it, which is a little bit more historical that I've found fascinating, which just kind of dates back to a generation that grew up in the Great Depression. And this era came about where we just don't talk about money. It's just something that we don't take outside of the house. But even something that I found, Lynn, and just the myriad of conversations I've had is people don't even talk about it inside the home. There are families where they're not sharing it with their children. They don't want to talk about a family budget. They don't have family meetings to talk about expenses. There's separate accounts for members of the family, and they don't know where the money is going from either account, which can be fine. And maybe that works for some people. But for a lot of people, I think what I've found, Lynn, is that there's a lot of confusion, there's some angst. And I think really at the heart of it, what we get to and have found is the best analogy I have is when you talk to some people about the subject of math and they break out in hives because they're like,
I
I
didn't know
hated math. I hated math. I can't, no, I don't want to talk about, I can't, don't even ask me how to do it. I suck at math. So I think there's that. And then, when that happens, you start sweeping stuff under the rug, or you start avoiding the stack of bank statements and credit statements and bill statements on the desk. So it's prevalent. I did not, honestly, full disclosure, I did not expect there to be that many people so interested in this topic, but we're getting a lot of positive response about it. And people, I think, are bravely opening up and sharing their personal testimony about it, which is amazing, both from the business side and the personal income side. So there's a lot really there to unpack. And that's just kind of one of these topics that we've just really felt blessed to just be able to kind of peel the onion back on.
One of the things that we have been doing over the last few weeks, and you're going to be, announcing the dates right now, is the content, the videos of these amazing stories of testimonials from people who are living real life in our communities, sharing their stories to help others be able to feel comfortable opening up a conversation. Justin, tell us about the live streams that are coming up. It's so exciting.
Yeah, so the first one's just Talk Money to Me. It's part one of a two-part series. We'll have kind of a cream in the middle of those two. The first one is this Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and you're going to be able to find it on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and just go Cascade Community Foundation, you'll find it. Of course, if you're following Consumers Credit Union or any of our other sponsors, they're all posting it to their social media sites. And this was a really compelling conversation because what we started off with, Lynn, was this opportunity just to go right into a room of experts and just start to ask them, hey, from your client base, what are the characteristics and what are the responses and what are the reactions you're getting when you try to like wedge the conversation and topic of money out of people? And they start really revealing as a professional what they've seen, and even more important, as we're bringing resources to the table, they start divulging, hey, here's some easy, quick steps that you can take. So that's episode one. We're just getting right into it with some experts to talk through that. And then 2 weeks after that, which will be October 13, same time, 8 o'clock on a Wednesday is when it premieres. And then after that, you'll be able to just catch it on YouTube anytime. That's when we sit down with some business owners, and Lynn Jarman Johnson is moderating this episode. And I felt, Lynn, and you tell me otherwise, but I felt like this was just such a strong, compelling conversation because we got to hear both kind of the ongoing grind of what it's like for a business owner just trying to make it happen, has been doing it for 10 years and is still trying to make it happen. But then also this other one who really took advantage of the financial resources that might be out there and followed advice and guidance and started to make things really happen as well. So I love that episode as well.
Well, we are just so thrilled. I know the final episode really features a testimonial of someone who, just like any one of us, you go through life and all of a sudden college hits perhaps, or something happens in your life, and all of a sudden you find, oh my goodness, there's less money at the end of the week than when I started or thought. And the honesty of how you feel, when that happens to you is very raw.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, in our early conversations, Lynn, with your team and the foundation about how you guys were going to blend into this topic, when we started talking about that at work program that you guys have, that's when it really started to make sense. Because at work, when you're in a job situation and you're at a location where there's coworkers, you're going to have all different walks of life. And for those people to have the opportunity to return to a resource like what you guys are offering to get over these initial humps and struggles they might be having financially is huge. And so we really shine a spotlight, like you said, on Scott Dobson, who's a member of your team, obviously, who shares his compelling testimony. And the great thing about it, Lynn, is that he's just mirroring what millions of people in America are experiencing. I mean, the debt crisis in this country is astronomical. So we know it's happening out there. But he was one of those brave souls that's willing to kind of share his own stumbles to help others kind of get through those roadblocks. And that episode is going to be October 29th. So it's 2 weeks away from, every 2 weeks we got a new one coming out. And that's going to be just helpful for viewers just to kind of stay on that track, because we really walk them through each step as they go. And it's worth mentioning too, Lynn, that in every single episode you have resources. And that was such, I think, a profound purpose that our board of directors at Cascade Community Foundation had when we brought this to them to be like, hey, we really have something that could be of impact to this community. They were like, where are the resources? These are such good topics. We've got to drive people right back to resources. So we've got other experts from a bunch of different fields, a bunch of different industries who line up and talk to me about the interviews that we've been having. So not only are viewers going to get a chance to relate to what's going on, but they're also then going to be pointed right where to go. Like these are the steps you got to take. And I think that's pretty key to just kind of putting a bow on this entire season to let people know, like, hey, you got Consumers Credit Union out there, you've got Edwin Jones out there, you've got a bunch of different, you've got estate planning through Ella's Law. All these guys were lining up to provide resources and converse through what the opportunities are. And I felt that was great.
Well, I'll tell you what, Justin, I think the unique component that you just mentioned is that everyone has been volunteering their time. Consumers, our financial at work program is complimentary. The goal here is to help people really thrive during a time that sometimes stress can cause such issues in your life, especially when it comes to money. And we really appreciate the fact that you've helped open the door to many communities. The other component, everyone who's listening, if you can't watch it live, don't forget it will be on YouTube. Take some time and watch with your family members, perhaps your coworkers, those that you can have an open lunch and learn, possibly at your office, even to talk about things that normally, people like to keep close to the vest. But we are all in this together, aren't we, Justin?
We are, and I like that you mentioned that. These are topic starters, these are conversation starters, and I would love it if listeners to your podcast would treat it as such. If you could be a bridge to helping somebody else get informed through the Q&A live stream or through any program that's available, that's what we got to do, because we need this stuff out there more and more, and that's why we're there, Lynn. We want to start shining the light on the things that we often avoid, and this is one of those topics.
Well, Justin, thank you so much for being with us today. What a perfect topic for Money, I'm Home.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I thought that worked out pretty well. It was wonderful to be with you.
Listen, if you have a topic you'd like to share with us, please send it our way. Like, special shout out to Jake Esseling for his production skills. Hope you all have a wonderful week. I'm Lynn Jarman Johnson, Money, I'm Home with Consumers Credit Union.